I recorded the last couple of sessions and didn't bother to load them because the streaming seemed to work perfectly fine, which is good. As it generally record as a backup, but it means it's duplicating stuff for my computer. But yeah, so it's not too bad. Right, so welcome everyone. We've just got 3 today. It's a light. Well, I don't know if it might be a heavy session, but light on muscle, 5 power with a half strength. But even the last couple of sessions, we've sort of averaged around 4 or so. So we've got Gungo, Barbarian, Rogue, a lead, Wizard, Blade Singer, yeah, and Luxor, Cleric, Fighter, Multi, War Priest. Probably you don't have to go into stats and stuff. You just say War Priest. You know, it could be many things. My freaking dog has just started to arc up. First time since I've been sitting here preparing. There's, yeah. Stream starts. I can bark at bandicoots now. All right. Oh, I don't know if you can see on screen here. I've got a soul coin. Got as a gift from one of my players after running Descent into Avernus. Solid iron, cold iron wrought in Avernus. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so a bit of a recap. You spent many days searching through Eberron in search of the 4th piece of the 3rd piece, wasn't it, with the Rod of 7 Parts. Found it in the brain of a brain of a huge construct. It promptly got its head bitten off by a Tarrasque, and you had to dig the thing out of the Tarrasque belly somehow. You succeeded in that. Noida, who's not here right now, but off camera, so I presume you've got access to the rod should you need it. You then found yourselves in Ravenloft, or a particular domain of Ravenloft, dread realm of dominated by Ch6 as the Dark Lord. Ch6 being the lieutenant of Vecna, who betrayed him and destroyed him, or at least destroyed his form at one stage. Long story short, you managed to fight your way through the Citadel, or sneak your way through his his sanctum, and found the sword, his relic from bygone days. And Luxor, are you the one wielding that right now? Right. Your new toy. It makes you a little bit cross. It demands blood whenever you draw it, so much like a samurai. You can take psychic damage if you try to if you leave it dissatisfied, which almost happened, I think, the other day. And yeah, so you've got the sword of Ch6, and you're just aching to wield that in battle, or it is, and you feel the same shared desire. And the whole party has raced off back to Sigil, and has gone to the private sanctum of Mordenkainen. Mordenkainen's not there right now, but Lady Illustriel is, or was at that stage, and you're now reclining on the couches of the private sanctum, determining what to do from here. Others are off doing their own downtime activities. Your halfling ranger pal spent a lot of time on the streets of Sigil and has darted off somewhere. And some of the others are off doing their own thing as well. Is there anything that you wanted to do over a week or so of downtime? Well, it depends on what your plans are from here. So, you've arrived back. Noida is not getting any driving from the rod. But I think Luxor, you had considered possibly casting a commune spell if that's up your sleeve. I'm not sure if you're able to do that out of, depending on what level cleric you are. It's a 5th level spell, I believe. Okay, so you could, if you can cast a 5th level cleric spell, you could do a commune as part of this downtime activity and come up with, where to next. The party has had some hints of the whereabouts of other things from that cave painting, I think, that you saw on Aberon. Yeah. So that was where you're not sure because the cave painting was a little bit obtuse, but it looked like where you just were was a valley ringed by volcanoes, and so there was it's common to have smoke and ash falling. Yeah. Yes, yeah, but maybe you're thinking of a place that Elide had identified as the Plain of Pandemonium, which was right at the far end of the end of the line, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's your cave painting showing on the screen there. Mm. Yeah, so that would be the very far bottom right of the picture here, where there looks like this giant bulbous creature with 2 or 3 heads and howling winds. You identified, yeah, you identified that being as Miska, the wolf spider, the general of the forces of chaos. And you've got, if you, yeah, if you if you scroll left from there, there's the jeweled skull, um, indicating some sort of demilish in a maze. And then further to the left, you can see a Tarrasque, stomping on mountains, and and some sort of skull castle on top of a mountain. But you haven't been there. You haven't seen anything like that. It doesn't really indicate the place that you've just been. As soon as you go further left, you recognise places you have been: the lighthouse, the haunted lighthouse, and the underground forest. But it's a little bit weird. It doesn't exactly go left to right because there's some places or things you haven't been to on the next row up. Obviously, the Queen of Dragons poking her many heads out of a cave, and some sort of being with a sword waving it around in the air. Could be, yeah, could be, could be Lyndon. Mm. Yes. Ah, you found some. You found some other clues as well. In the other, in remember in the, so this is from a wall tapestry from Eberron that you're looking at right now. But remember, there was also the stained glass window in the Kaz's place, and he had his own little map of the cosmos. And it looked like he was not looking for the rod of seven parts. He was looking for the hand and eye. And well, the location of the hand is in the grip of the Queen of Dragons. So he sort of assumed it was hell, and because she lives on the first layer of hell, Avernus. And the eye in relation to Acererak. And Acererak, I think you managed to identify Oerth as, yeah. Yes. So, well, Lich or Demi-Lich, they generally got jewels for eyes and teeth and so on. Yeah. So that you haven't really had any reference to that. Hmm. Yeah. Hello. Ding ding ding. So yeah. It's not quite that, but you can ask 3 questions to the cosmos and they'll be answered with a yes or a no. Your god is not that chatty. Bit of an introvert and just gives yes nos. But if your god knows, you will get a correct answer. Yeah. Yeah. Don't say, "Are you sure?" after you've asked your first one. Yeah, really? Yes, third question. You also have Illustriel as a resource. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Who can say? Okay. So she will do some research and do some of her own divinations. And if you give her a few days and you guys see to, whatever else you want to do over the next few days, then, you can reconvene. And then if you want to cast a commune after that to, on the basis of, to extend what she has uncovered, then you could do that. The other thing is you could choose to, as a downtime activity, basically hit the streets of Sigil and see what you can drum up. Yep. That's a perfectly valid downtime activity. I think Luxor, you want to go shopping, and a lead, you probably want to scribe some spells into your spell book. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's do that first. You're going to try and seek a bit of magic augmentation. A lead. You've got some restocking to do, and I think you've found some scrolls with some spells in it. If they're of a level that you're able to cast, and you want to be able to, memorize and prepare them ongoing, then you would need to scribe them into your book. Scribing a spell. Oh, did you? So, that means you've got to disintegrate up your sleeve at any time. Okay. So think of it as a day per level of spell. So if you to scribe a 7th level spell into your book from the scroll then vanishes, and your book has then got it in your own, font. Comic Sans. Or whatever. Algerian. So, week 1, is there a spell you want to scribe in, a lead? Okay. 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 All right. In that case, what about you, Gungo? What do you want to do over the week 1? Okay. Nice. All right. Oh, do you? Yeah, great. It's in Xanathar's? Yeah, I'm right there. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not quite there. I'm in Downtime Revisited. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Bugger the DM's one. I didn't buy a DMG. I was DMing for about 3 years before I bought it. Pit fighting. Okay. There is loads of places, and you can go. Yeah, you can go boxing, wrestling. Generally non-lethal. It's not, permitted in Sigil. Lethal combat. Yeah. Okay. All right. So. Okay. Strength, dexterity, and a special constitution check that has a bonus equal to the character's largest hit die. I'm not sure what that means. A special contract that has a... Yeah, okay. Oh, I see. Yep. Yep. Yeah, okay. All right, so that way you can boost something. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, and yeah, okay. All right. So you go into this place, and you can hear all this cheering, and there's money exchanging, all over the place. lots of scowls and sneers and raucous laughter and people slapping each other on the backs. And you can hear this roar. And obviously there's some guy that's just won. And they say, will anyone else step into the ring? Obviously this is your chance. Go and go. Okay, all right. And you can see almost something you recognise. It looks like this huge ape-type creature. Remember the guy that was a vivisect and he had these huge orangutan demon arms? But this guy is the real deal. So it's this giant demon ape. Okay, all right. So first, you need to go with a strength athletics roll. Oh yeah, definitely. That's what you do when you're pit fighting. Oh my god. Okay. So you get this guy in a headlock, and round one is just over in seconds. It's like when there's one of those big Tyson fights, and it's over in the first 10 seconds of the first round. But then they break, and then they call apart, and you can this time. The ape thing starts to, instead of just going and trying to grab you, get you in a bear hug, it starts reaching around the Thunderdome and sort of gibboning around the place. And this is going to take some acrobatics. Ooh, okay. Yes, all right. So you managed to. It's not quite as, a full. There's a bit of interchange, and you have a bit of a Matrix moment with you two, fighting it out, duking it. But eventually, you manage to slip and give this guy a huge uppercut, two-hand style, and there's chances of you, even throughout this, of taking a number of rounds where one of you might tire first, and I'll get you to go into your constitution check. Yes? 8. Okay, so you rolled a 9. All right. So in this case, while you are clearly outmatching this guy, he's a demon. He is it will never tire. And over the next few rounds, you start to tire. And although your scorecard is smattered with these, high scoring rounds, towards the end, you're just like, as you can see when people, clearly the dominant fighter, comes in swinging and then runs out of puff a little. But however, at the end of that, the judges' scores are all, and the umpire has both of your hands. No one's knocked out, and then there's a hooray, and they lift up your hand, Gungo, and the crowd goes wild, and people exchange hands, and you come away with that, with 100 gold yourself, and a bit of cred because you just defeated Balgura. Okay, right. Yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Pina coladas. Okay. All right. Luxor, you're... Yes. And you do want it? Yes. Nice. So that's your week of, you're cloistered in your books. You have to make special inks and things for that. It's in the player's handbook. If we can look it up in a sec, or between rounds or whatever. But it costs in ink and materials to scribe the spell. But over the course of the week, no problem. It's in there. And I think whirlwind actually creates a whirlwind, doesn't it? That you move around and like a... Yeah, nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, Luxor, you're looking for an item, yes? Yeah. Now, have you, you spend a couple of days trying to find, buyers, find someone who can vouch for you with people that you've actually good for the money, and whatnot. But you get sort of warned off pretty quickly that things that are just going to add, naturally to your wisdom or to any ability score, generally you won't find them for sale. So they sort of almost warn you off, even bothering, unless there's something else that you also want to look for. Or you could just ask someone to hit the streets for you, be your, make the introductions and so on. This is why it's essentially a charisma check to buy magic items or to try and seek them. Now, it doesn't just take charisma. If you want to walk around with a wad of cash and spend a bit of money on bribes and things to open doors, that'll give you bonuses. Yep. Yes. Right. They say pray and be hard. And they say, if you find an evil weakling who has one of these things you seek, kill them and take it. Well, the evil, evil weakling is what? Yeah, booty. They seem to go, well, if you can buy it on the streets, fine, but it's not the way Thor rolls. Yeah. Well, yeah. But they can still say that all warriors need to restock, and they can give you some pointers of places where you can go to try and buy stuff. You've got a magic weapon right now, so they say, what else do you need? Or you could take it random and just go, okay, well, see what you can get. See what turns up. So basically, instead of doing this, you, targeting something specific, because like your player doesn't know the DMG, but you can try and say, oh, I want a Holy Avenger, I want to, whatever. But you could just say, hey, can you just hit this, put the word out that I'm looking for stuff and see what's around and let me know. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Now, do you want to spend the 1,000 to get the full +10 to the roll? Okay. All right. So I'm going to get you to do a persuasion check. Now, if you want to, you do it. If you don't want to use your persuasion, you can hire someone, and this is where the 1,000 GP comes in, to get someone to speak for you. Okay, so your starting roll is target is Let's see. No, sorry, the character that you've got working for you has got a +7, and you're also chipping in that 1000, so you're going to get a +17. Yes, please. You roll a 1. I can't see it. What is it? 4. 4. Okay, 21. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can you roll a D100 for me? Right in the middle. Okay, let's have a look. So obviously you don't have, this is just up to you. Okay. A Mace of Smiting comes up for sale. Yep. So you can choose whether to buy this or not. And if you look in the Sane Magical Items Guide, in fact, I'll find that straight away. Smiting. Yes. Yep. So Mace of Smiting is a +1 mace. If you're fighting constructs, it's +3. And if you roll a 20, does an extra 7 damage, or an extra 14 if it's a construct. It's really good against constructs. So generally, a magical bludgeoning weapon, you've got a magical slashing weapon already. This would be, probably only relevant for you if you, were stuck fighting something that for some reason couldn't be slashed. Or took double damage. Your sword wouldn't like you using that too much in any case. That's the other problem. Yes. Now, can you roll another percentage for me? Okay. Okay. Coming right up. Oh, and then just roll a D4 for me. 3. Okay. Okay, some wings of flying are available. It's a cloak, and with it, they can turn into feathery, wings. If you're interested. Okay. Yep. All right. So if you want to buy the mace was 7,000, the wings of flying 5,000. Well, you might. In the last adventure, they found they filled up their bag of holding with treasure, but I think you've got the party's got quite a bit in gems, probably at least one each, worth about 5,000, I think. I don't know if one of the others. Yeah. Right. If Gungo and lead, if you're happy to take the 5,000 out of the party booty, just do the deletion. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's plenty of money that is yours. It just hasn't been divided up yet. So they're just... now, do you want to roll another percentage? Okay. Okay. What did you get for your third? 65. Okay, this is a ring of evasion. Has 3 charges. And you can expend a charge if you ever fail a dexterity save. As long as you got a reaction, you haven't used it that round, to automatically save your dexterity saving throw. Yeah. If you're a heavy armor guy, you probably don't have a great dexterity anyway. Or dexterity proficiency. Being a fighter cleric. Okay. So that's 5,000 as well. And you might find, when you add those, because they'll all be in D&D Beyond, you'll find out which of those needs attunement. You might have already used with those 3 items the Sword of Kaz, Ring of Evasion, and Wings of Flying. That might use your 3 slots. But either way, you didn't have any other slots to spend. So, and that's what this guy turns up. Luckily, over the week with Sigil's actually is probably one of the better places in the cosmos to go looking to buy magic items. And with that, I think that's week 1, and you go back to meet with Illustriel, and she says, I have... I'll just bring myself back to the right map. Okay, cool. There we go. I'm just closing down the handout too. Okay, and she says that she's looked at, done her divinations, and using her scrying pool has determined that it looks like both one of the rods, the pieces of the rod, and the hand are in somehow the ownership of fallen to the forces of the Dragon Queen. Now, there's mention of her lieutenants, and weirdly, it's not all roads are not necessarily pointing to hell, to Avernus. And she says there's another world that the Queen of Dragons goes by another name, Ch6, but still it's the same entity. And this is a particular prime plane where she has great interest, and looks like to be waging a war of conquest across that whole continent there. And the divinations seem to be leading to that plane as opposed to Avernus, both in some respects. But she suggests you don't necessarily have to go to hell. It might be worth investigating the world of Kryn first and seeing if your rod takes you anywhere there. There is no picture on the tapestry, but that specifically mentions Kryn, other than the Queen of Dragons is invading it currently, is invading this world. And she's represented on the map. She also says it would be useful to, like, I know you're tossing up 3 options, or 3 or 4 options as to where to go next, is that it's almost like it's good to find more pieces of the rod, but it would be better to find the next piece because then it joins on. That they have to be combined in sequence. So if you find part number 7, then you can't join it together. No, no. So it'll be one of these three, but not which piece is which. Hmm. Hmm. The hand and one of the parts of the rod is in the hand of the Dragon Queen, but what plane it's on or whether they're both together is unknown. So Illustriel's wary to assume, but they're both in the hands of the Dragon Queen. But whether it's her that's got it, or two beings, or one of her lieutenants has got both. Hmm. Yeah, it's once a day. Um, you can cast it, so you can still, like with downtime, you can try to whittle it down. Yep. All right. You cast your spell. Your god is you've got your god's ear. What do you want to say? Okay. And you get a yes. Say it again. Is the next part we need the one we need next? Yes. No. Yep. Yeah, so we're pretty certain we can find a door. This is the city of doors. That'll probably take, let's assume it's another week of downtime, or maybe a couple of days. But eventually, after a couple of more days, you gather yourselves, also go out and restock, and you can get anything that you want from the player's handbook that's not magical, and find yourselves a gateway to Kryn. And let's have a look. You're all set? All set for a gateway to Kryn? Or do anything you want to do beforehand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they'll come with you. Yeah, so or they might miss the bus and get sent through the same doorway at some point. Yeah. So Illustrio says, "Well, this is incredible." Yep. Gungo, what were you going to say? Yes. Yes. Kryn is a strange one. It's a world without gods. The people there. Let's have a look. Yeah, so the people of Kryn believe that the gods abandoned their world, which may be true, after some cataclysm upon their largest city, Ishtar, a few centuries ago. And there are very few people on Kryn that can cast divine spells in any form. It's burgeoning, and it looks like that there is still divine magic, but it's very rare. It's also yep. Magic is generally distrusted, but there are good, evil, and neutral wizards, and there's 3 schools of wizardry, unlike what we have with necromancy and illusion and evocation and so on. Kryn's wizard, the weave affects them, not so much by the ley lines and so on, like it is in many planes, but through 3 moons. So there's 3 moons that circle the world of Kryn. One that is always full, one that is always new, so they call that a black moon, and one that is always red. Some stars, as you know, glitter red, and this is like a red moon. And so, while wizardry is, they're seen much like many worlds, they're seen as eccentric and sometimes not to be trusted. There are still good wizards there. Yeah. Yeah, you might see, you might find distrust if you start the divine magics around the common folk. Will turn heads, definitely. Yeah, so world at war. One of the gods, the Queen of Darkness, Ch6, returned from her exile from that world and brought an army of chromatic dragons, so the coloured dragons, with her. And on the world of Kryn, her war machine is slowly and steadily engulfing the entire planet. One city, Kalaman, north of Dargaard Keep, was recently able to repel her forces just barely. But Illustrial thinks that it's inevitable that Ch6 will eventually hold dominion over the whole planet. The place where the recent events, where this is right on the front, where the war is fiercest, the fighting is led not by Ch6 herself, but by her main lieutenant, who was once a paladin. And they have 3 orders of paladins, the high-ranking ones are called Knights of the Sword. The most esteemed paladins, the most holy of holies, are the Knights of the Rose. And this Knight of Solemnia, which is an order of knights, turned on his brothers. They were all slaughtered as a result. Many during the Cataclysm, and he stayed on after death as a Black Knight. He's called, referred to as a Knight of the Black Rose. So he has a fortress near where the front is. Yeah. So Death Knights are one of the most powerful of the warrior undead, as opposed to leashes and so on, and mummies that are more about the spell casting undead. Mm-hmm. No, religion is not really practiced. No, yeah, in some circles, yes. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't ride into town carried atop some shield by 4 acolytes swinging an incense burner if I were you. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Mm. It starts that way. Um, so over the course of the 2 weeks, you try that. Um, what are you going to do? Say, does Jeff have the rod? And just go through the go go through the phone book. What about? Maybe it's Travis Worthington. Could be. You can do another. Yeah, do another commune if you want. If you want to try another commune, you've got. If you do it more than once a week, you would know that while you can, there's a chance of pissing off your god. They start to not return your calls and ghost you. Yeah. Oh, that's that bloody Luxor ring again. No, don't answer, doll. Does Travis have the rod? What? Okay. All right. So are you stepping through this portal? What's the go? I'm closing. Okay. All right. You step through the portal, and after the now familiar period of feeling unstable, dizzy, light going first white, then multicolored, then black, your vision clears. You can smell, dust and earth and plants and things. And you find yourselves in some foothills, low, scrubby, scrubby bushes, grasses, and you're in the foothills of some sort of mountain range. Let's have a look. Yeah. A tavern, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah. So you have a look around, and you can see it's twilight. And you can see a red moon, slightly covered over by clouds. Different sort of red wizards than what you're probably used to, but yes. You can. Yep. Okay. You don't, but you can see. Let's see. You can see a bit of a light about 500 yards or so away. Yeah, like a torch being carried or a light spell or, something like that. Mm-hmm. So you duck behind the bushes, and you can see it sort of. It's not bobbing around, but it's 500 yards away, so a fair way. But you can see it's just moving very slowly, parallel to you. Okay. So you're pretty confident that you wouldn't be seen. You don't have a light source yourself. You might be heard from a distance as you stumble into rocks or whatnot. You're not particularly stealthy. But as you get closer, you can see that it looks like it's a knight, sort of stumbling, almost staggering along, with one hand on their stomach, and the other hand on the pommel of a large sword on their side, but otherwise ornate, elaborate armour. But the light source that you're seeing is not held by them, but rather they have an aura around them. They're glowing. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. From this distance, you can't see any insignia, but you can tell that it's very ornate. But if you got close enough to 30 feet away or so, then let's say you're only about 100 feet or so away right now. Yep. As you get closer, you get about 50 feet away, and you can see that, he's got long hair, a bit of a beard, looks like Barry Gibb, but he's clearly affected with the plague. There's large lesions and swellings and things all over his neck. You can't see much under the armour, but he's not wearing a helmet. And he's sort of staggering along as if he's very badly injured, but it's probably fatigue. And it almost looks as if he's slightly translucent. You can see the shapes of rocks and things on the other side of him through him. And he sort of cries out, "Oh!" And he says, "Huma, Huma, forgive me." And as he does, he almost fades out as he takes 2 or 3 steps and is gone, vanishing before your eyes once you get to about 30 feet away. But you do find that he's on where he was walking was on a trail. You could roll an Arcana for me, and maybe Luxor if you roll a Religion. Okay. All right. Do a Survival then, Gungo. We'll get everyone in on it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Arcana, a 3. Okay. Cranking it up to 11. Okay. All right, Gungo, you look down and see no sign of any tracks. And you look over at Alid and Luxor, and they're sharing a common view that it's not natural. Yes. It looks like when you go up the way this night was coming, that somewhere up in the mountains there's this a glow. It's sort of a flickering type of glow. He had the plague. You, okay. All right. Can you roll a? So you're trying to follow this trail. It's pretty easy, Gungo. You feel, but you're not the greatest tracker. Um, but it's a path. Yeah. Yeah. Can you roll another survival for me? Oh, very good. All right. So you managed to stick to the path, even though it does, switch back and change directions every so often, because it is going up into the mountains. And you travel up, and you can see somewhere. It's like when I say there's fire somewhere in the distance. It's not so much as it's just at the top of the hill that you're walking to. It's more like seeing the fires of Mount Doom somewhere a few days away. And you walk for quite a few hours, and you're starting to prepare for camp. See, and you can hear something in the distance. It sounds like someone screaming, no, and you can hear like ogres laughing somewhere beyond the ridge. Okay, so you race ahead, off to the rescue. You reach the crest, and just as you get to the crest and look over, those sounds sort of fade into silence as you get to the location where you think that, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, so perception for me. Okay, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, okay. All right, so it looks like in this area, sometime in the past, it's been cleared and might have been a campsite or something, but it's ancient. And you do find a few, scout around, you do find a few human bones in what looks like a large fire pit. The fire pit's maybe about 10 feet across. Many, many years. You're looking at blackened marks on the stone and sifting through, earth and ash. But there's no ash as such there. It's just that grey soil. Yeah. You hear a screeching cry above you and look up. And, it's not quite dark yet. There's a few stars out, but, twilight still. Even though you've been walking for many hours, the lighting hasn't actually changed. And you see a huge bat-winged creature with a full body, 4 legs and a tail. So identify that pretty easily as a dragon. And there's a pair of them. Okay. Back into the bushes. One is there's enough. So one of them is giving off some sort of ethereal green glow from its mouth, from its eyes, and from the sides of its, the base of its neck. And it's got the shape of the horns and the shape of the wings to look like a black dragon. And the other one, you get a glint from it. The wings are almost transparent. Is it's sapphire blue, and the two dragons are flying sort of almost side by side in the direction that you guys were walking up into the mountains. Something to look for. She's rumoured to have 5 heads. Yeah. But often is depicted as a human or elf, silver elf woman. So you take a rest, can change spells or prepare, steel yourselves for the creepiness, and have a breakfast and head off. You continue for about another half a day, another 4 hours or so, until you rise crest another saddle, and ahead of you you see a jagged series of switchbacks cut into a cliff face, and towards a narrow pass in the mountains. And crouched between 2 sharp peaks is a massive charred black edifice, a keep. And you would deem this to probably be Dargaard Keep, the fortress of Lord Soth, the Death Knight. There's no signs of life, no signs of activity, no people marching along the battlements or whatnot, no activity coming in and out of the across a drawbridge that enters into the keep. It's lowered. You can't see much of the keep itself. It's obscured by a thick curtain wall, but yet silhouetted against a dark sky, you can see the shape of the keep's central tower, which rises hundreds of feet straight up into the air before it expands out into a full, like a black rose in full bloom. Charge! Yeah. Yep. Up the cliff. Hmm. It's just you, but you can always upcast it. Lucky the others did. Lucky the others didn't come. Okay, level. Yeah. Yep. Now, are you just going like because this cliff face, you're sticking close because you can hear the sounds of dragons, and you know they've got pretty good eyesight. At the top of the tower, I mean, like right up high. Okay. Yeah. It's possible for Gungo, not it's possible for a lead. Luxor is a little bit different because you've got a wingspan, so you can't just sort of hover and stick right to the wall. But you know, you can still be 5-10 feet away from it. Okay, Gungo, what were you going to say? Yep. Um, the only way in, so you would no, yeah, so you can avoid the switchbacks, and you can, and the front face of the fortress is on a cliff face, and so you can always, if you can go off to one side and alight on a cliff face. You've gone as far up the cliff face, and you've just gently, walked up over the ledge. Alid and Luxor, you just land gracefully on the cliff face. The cliff face is pretty decent, so you're not like stuck to the wall or anything. The battlements of the keep, which are really high themselves, from there to the cliff face you've just come from is 20 or 30 feet away. So there's a wide area that you can walk along. If you go further to one side, you hit an enormous tower that goes up, a long way, and there's a rooftop to that, like the minarets. But if you go to the east, to the east, there is a bridge, looking old, decrepit, and unused. Just to the, maybe 50 feet or so to the east. No gates or anything like that. Apart from those two dragons, no. Probably 50, 60 feet. Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you tiptoe up the side of the wall. Let's see, and I'll pop you up there. And eventually you pop yourself over the side. Luxor, are you flying over too? And you hop over the battlements and look down into a grassy courtyard. Directly facing you are two enormous double doors, probably 15, 20 feet across, 10 foot each. That goes into the central keep. Yep. 100, 200 feet. Bear with me one sec. Almost as tall. Yep. It has windows for the first, what might be the first 3 levels or so. Just check. Yeah, so about half the way up has levels. You can't hear any noises or anything from the inside, and you can see that higher up there are balconies as this rose shape opens up, and there are walkways connecting those balconies many floors above to each of the 5 towers that ring it. And you can see and you can see light sources up there too, so you know something is, lit. Mm-hmm. It looks a little bit decrepit as well. So while it's a crumbling, the southwest tower appears intact, connected to the keep. That's the one closest to where you are. Connected by a narrow walkway several stories above. Across from the tower, there's a skeletal knight with hair of purple flames. It seems to guard, standing to like almost as at attention, guarding those massive oak doors leading into the keep. And north of those main doors, there's a lifeless skeleton dangling from a window in the southwest wall. There's a smaller door in the western wall as well, almost directly north from where you are. And that's also guarded by another skeletal knight with the head of afire. You can't see from where you are, but once you get up to, if you were to go up to the top of it, you can't see the top of the walkways above. Remember, the towers themselves have got minarets, so you can't just land on top. The walkway connecting the northwest tower, the one that's directly north from where you are, so the second one. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. How's your visibility? Probably a bit too far away. So if I put, what I'll do is I'll put some light sources there, because there are some lights down there, and it should be, just in the twilight, should be a little bit more visible. I've got a better idea. There, I've actually made it daylight, but really dim. Yeah, I think if you guys walk along to where Gungo is, you can look along the line of the castle. Higher up, yes, there are. Let's have a look. Oh, can't you? You might be. I might have put you right on a wall, and because there's no moving through walls, you'd expect the towers not to have windows and things in the lower halves, and that's exactly what it's like. It's not until you get to really high up where there's this purple flame flickering, 100 feet or so above, that there's clearly some sort of apertures that let out the light, sort of like a lighthouse. I'll put them on the map there for you. I'm just using a skeleton, but that's just what they look like rather than what they are. Okay, so you go up the tower. Can you, each of you, roll a stealth for me? $19 for Gungo. Dum 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 dum. Oh, 15 and a 21. Okay. Oh yeah. Is that with disadvantage, or do you have to do a second time? Okay, 12. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He sounds like a tin man. All right, Lux, so I'll just bring you over closer and I'll move you up to the next level. Can you? Token. Okay. Okay, have a quick insight as to every room in the lay of the land. Yeah, but this tower, you've gone up 30 feet, gone around, and haven't found any any means to get inside the tower. You'd have to go up further. Okay. Okay. I think that's all fixed there. Keep going up. Okay, we'll have another stealth roll for everyone. $22. Nice. Okay. Okay. Luxor, you got a 13. Something else? Okay. Just bear with me. All right. You hear some sort of cry of alarm from below. And it looks like the knight that's, you know, two floors down has either heard or spotted you and calls out from down here. I'll put the knight in just for giggles. Oh, I've got you on the wrong layer. Let's have a look. So you won't be able to see anything. Can you see anything right now, or is it all black? Okay. All right, so you're back on the wall, right in the crack between, you know, there's a battlements, you know, 30 feet below you. It's another 30 feet up or so before you get to another layer, at least of the fortress inside. And the skeleton knight beneath you has called out an alarm. So I'll get the three of you to roll initiative. How'd you go? We've got a 8 for Luxor, a 6.15. I can see an initiative of 20. Okay. Oh, I've got a lot to take away too. I hate it how it does this. It takes a while to load all these other ones from previously. That's all right. 20. And where are you, Luxor? Add turn. And what did you get? 8. And gun goes to 6. Okay. Oh my god. 21. All right. So this skeleton, yeah. So obviously it cries out some sort of cry of alarm. I'm jumping down here. Okay, and thumps on the doors. And thumps on the doors, and they start to creak open a little. Okay. Sorry. I'll move to the next person in the line. So, a lead. What do you want to do? Looks like he is the one that opened it. There's a hand. You know, he's got a. All right. Okay. Okay. Crikey. Big guns. I'm just rolling the straight D20. He needs a 16. And, that's a native 15. Yeah, I'm just seeing if he saved. Is it save or half or save or none? Yeah, and on a pass? Okay. Oh, no, I rolled 15. That's what I was... Hang on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. This is painful. That's what I'm checking. That's what I'm checking. Okay, here we go. That was a handy one. Holy moly. Okay. Dexterity. Okay. He the ray hits him. Boom. He does not save. He takes 77 damage. I will just show you a health bar here. Wow. Can you see your health bar? Okay, you do 77 and it drops him to injured, like half of his torso, and he's fully plate armored and a lot of that's missing. Looks like you just did a ray gun straight through him, about a foot wide, but he's still standing there. Okay, and he's going to return fire with a throwing axe. What's your armor class? Okay, this axe is going to hit you right between the eyes. Do you want a shield? No, it hits you right between the eyes. Okay, throw up a shield, and this hand axe goes chunk, and then misses you. Okay, and that's your reaction. Oh, 26. Okay, cool. All right, he's going to throw another one. Doesn't hit armor class 26, and he's going to throw another one. And it also misses. Yeah, he's now out of axes. He pats his hips, looking for more axes. He's gone. He's out. Yeah. Luxor, what do you want to do? Okay. Now, you're 60 feet away. So what's your flying speed? Yeah. Oh, it's 30 foot as a crow, as the, laterally, but you're 60 foot up in the air. Yep, okay. Guiding bolt. What does he have to do? 73? You rolled a hit. Okay. You hit him. Fourth level spell. 7d6. 31 radiant damage. My God. It's radiant. Does he like radiant? Sometimes these dudes don't like radiant. Okay. No, he takes the full damage, but he's still alive. He's had taken it. This is the guy at the front door, the butler. He's taken a, God knows, 120 something, and survived it. But the next person to attack him gets advantage, don't they? Yep. Okay. No, because that's what you did was cast a spell. Okay. Not quite. Not quite. Add turn. There we go. Gungo, off to the side. You see another skeleton come down, pause at another where there's a window at the ground level, and another door at the ground level, and throws axes up to a lead. Yeah, this guy doesn't see the the magic there, so I try to play them to what they do know. So he throws at you. Missing, and missing. Gungo, over to you. No, you'd have to go higher up, and I'll try and give you an idea of how high. If you went another 30 feet, there would be a walkway. But you don't know if that's defended or not. Okay. 26 hits. 5 piercing. All right, you destroy him. Oh, how much damage did you actually do on that crossbow bolt? 5. Okay. All right, so it looks like your crossbow blew straight through the skull and blew out the back, and he sort of staggered and dropped, and then just crackled and got back to his feet again. You can, yep. So get him again. Okay, that hits. Does 9 damage, does it? Let's see. Okay, and this time his head actually falls off and he drops. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Sure. Okay, you get up to there. I'll describe that in just a sec. Because I think at that point we get to the end of that round. And just so I don't give away too much because you're jumping straight into level 4. What are we at? We're at almost 10. Let's take a coffee. I was hoping to try and call a break now, and I'll use that just to make sure. It's more challenging when the whole party is stretched out vertically across multiple maps. Yeah, okay. I'll describe what you see then, just before we move on. Yeah, you're at level 1. You went up 1 level. You went up another one, And then, right, I think I've... Okay. Yeah, so there's 2 torches. And from where you are, the west overlook faces the west yard of the wall, as well as the south and northwest towers. The stair bridge connects the west overlook to the northwest tower, and there's a skeletal knight standing there on watch, and it rushes over to you to attack. If you're underneath the bridge, I couldn't really describe what was there. You need to, if you want to see what's on the bridge, then... when you get a chance. Yeah, okay. All right. So we'll do that in a sec. I'll move... I'll give them all colours while we're at... yeah, while we're at grabbing a coffee. All right, so let's meet back in 10 minutes. Okay. All right, cool. I'll see you back here shortly. All right. I've just got the audio back on. Great. So we're back from coffee. I'll take my sip before I keep talking. It'll go cold. I was a bit late back because I had to spend half the time fixing up the bloody level 4 bad guys. Like I didn't seed it with all the baddies, because then when you accidentally see the whole floor, you go, "Oh, that's where the pair of Dracolushes are." Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, we're back in business. Yeah. Right, Discordia. And we're at a lead, top of the round. Oh, there was a 21 though. That's where the skeletons were all going. So I'm going to get them back into their right spot. Right, so top of the round. This skeleton, he's going to throw 3 more axes at you, Elide. Now he's thrown 1 lot at you. Does this mean you've got your... You're still at your 26. Okay. Okay, so he pulls out an axe and then he waits. Because he doesn't know that you have shield, but he's actually triggered it once already. So, or he's seen it triggered once already. Now, Gunko, you see some little purple flame hair go running around on the up higher level, and it is possible. 1, 2, 3, 4. To see if you go around, because to the south, and there's a balcony a little bit further along where they can see underneath where you're hunkering down. What is your armor class currently? Okay. All right. So some axes are gonna. Yeah. Okay. So some axes are gonna come your way. And right, okay. So 1 comes, and 1 axe hits you, and 2 more hit you. And they are going to do... The first one is going to do 22 damage. Because you're raging. The next one does 17. And the next one does 15. And that's all slashing. And then they take cover behind the battlements. There's 2, and they drop out of sight. And then we move to you, Elide. What do you want to do? Yes, and you can hear axes either rattling off the stone or sinking into gungo flesh up above you, 30 feet above. But you can't see where they're coming from. Okay. Yeah, so 60 feet. In that case, you can get to him in 1 round with a fly spell. Without dashing. Ooh. Okay. Crack. Okay. Okay, he fails that. Takes the full damage. Okay. No, it's 10. It'll last the whole combat. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so we'll give you an altitude of 0, so you're on the ground floor. Okay, cool. So lightning bolt, bam, just a bit of soften him up. Then light up your spirit shroud, and then sail in to start wailing away with your Vorpal blade shortly. Luxor, you're also 60 feet away. Okay. Yep, that's all right. You can move as far across, even right above him if you want. I'll just change you to be level 2. We know you're halfway there now. It's only 30 feet away. Okay. Okay. What level are you going to use? Level 3. Okay. Class 24 hits. 66. 18 damage. Okay, you can tell by this point that they're not vulnerable to it, but they take the full damage. Golding Bolt hits. Next person that attacks will be at advantage. Gunko, you are now 30, 60, 90, 120 feet above your colleagues. You can't. So that you're down underneath the bridge, and so they were looking at you from a bit higher, and they had an angle, like a side angle vantage point, and because of that, when they duck down, because they're higher up, you lose sight of them. And no, it's not. I'll call it as your free action, ready an action, ready a weapon. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. You can tell where they are because there's a purple glow from there. They light up, but you can't see them because they've ducked down to get 100% cover. If you could fly there. Oh, you mean you running around? Let's see. Maybe 55 feet. Yep. Okay, all right. Okay, yep. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'll class you as being at ground level, basically, at this point. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. And that's you. That's you done. All your movement, and then the skeletons go. A lead. This skeleton goes to attack you. It draws a longsword. The weapon seems to innovate some sort of necrotic malarkey. It swings at you and hits. Do you have your reaction? Do you want a shield? I tell you whether it hits or not, but not what it hits. Are you on mute? I can't see. Yes, you are. Yeah. Ah. Okay. Throughout the shield, what does that make your armor class? 26. Okay, so this first longsword missed as a result. So he's going to try and swing again. Okay. This time it's a little bit harder. Okay, he misses with his second attack, swings with your third one, and misses with that as well. Untouchable, Bladesinger. All right. Luxor, a hail of axes comes sailing in your direction. What's your armor class? 20. Okay. All right. So the first one hits, misses, misses, hits, hits, hits. 4 shots. Not too bad. The first 2 do 24 damage. You got that? Okay. Adjust your token too so we can see your health bar go down so that your friends know when you need a bit of a hoik. And yeah, and the second 2 do 31 damage. These are not regular hand axes, or these skeletal knights are not regular hand axe throwers. No, it's doing slashing. A lead. It's up to you what you want to do. Rock and roll. Okay. Right. It's coming. Not yet. That's fine. That's all right. You don't have to. Yeah, don't have to. Yeah, just a bit slow. Okay, 18 is a hit. Okay. Yep. Now, just so you know, if you when you do those cantrips that involve making a melee attack with your weapon, it's still a cast a spell action rather than an attack. So if you get multi-attack, you won't get the second attack with your sword. So if you choose to attack with your sword, you can cast Booming Blade, and as part of casting the spell, you make a melee attack, or you can forego that Booming Blade damage and take a second attack, or in your case, do a cantrip, because Blade Sinkers can always do a cantrip as part of their Second attack. Oh, but your second attack can be Blooming Blade, so that's actually going to work, isn't it? Sorry, I just took myself all fully around. I'm sure you were just about to explain that to me. Okay. Okay, okay. So, mm-hmm. Holy moly. 15 and a 13. It's adding the 2 fire damages together. Can you do it to the same target? I thought it was to another. On a hit, the target suffers. The second creature takes 5 damage equal to. Yeah, so you can't stack the 2 together. Yep. So. Okay, that's still good. It's. Yep. Nice. Okay, nice. All right, so you can see his health bar there is badly, I say injured, but the skeleton's he's badly damaged. And I think that's your turn, unless you want to do any movement. Okay. Luxor, you're 30 feet away, still up in the air on a bit of an ankle. Yeah, they came from up 2 stories above you. Okay. Nasty goodness. Yep. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. So Morningstar, not the sword. All right. Oh, okay. I almost fell for it. Okay, Gunko, what do you want to do? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Saber comes out. 24 hits. Crikey. Okay, but he survives it. You're still raging, aren't you? Okay. Yeah, it was also a hit. Uh, 12 damage. Okay, you destroy him. He drops. Yes. Now 120 feet away. No, but there's a door open into the main keep, just a little bit further up. 10, 20, 25 feet away from you. Yep. Okay. Now, just I'm going to what the map that you're on. There's no door there, but that's just because using this map, I put the guys at ground level, but it's not a ground level map. So what I'm going to just quickly do is grab you all, move you to the ground floor, so that there's actually a door on the at the ground floor there. But the enemy that's on that map, of course, is not actually there. Pace you all, get rid of old Elite, old Gungo, old Luxor. Gungo, you might need to adjust your hit points. Or just check your hit points on your tokens is still good. And just okay, yep, no worries. And just because you might have been, for some of you might have been hit, but when you're spread across multiple maps, the damage can get spread across multiple tokens. So Luxor, you've still got ghostly images and they're swirling around. When you cast Spirit Guardians, these Spirit Guardians are going to do damage to every creature in this area, unless at the point of time when you cast the spell, creatures you see, you can target and say, no, don't touch that guy, he's my pal. Not that one, not that one, not that one. So in this case, a lead was right next to you, and Gungo was 30 feet away or so and 10 feet up in the air, but you knew where he was. He makes enough of a racket. I mention it because I think last time round we were doing Spirit Guardians and people came in and out, even from the week before, came up the stairs. Or people go stealthing and then miss out on being immune to the Spirit Guardians. So it's at the point you cast it, we'll have to try and make sure that you tell me at that point who you want to be immune to it. Even poor hostages in the next room, if you walk into the room, the Guardians will kill them. Yeah. Okay, so we crack on. Is that you? There's nothing aggressing you. No more axes come raining from above. Okay. Now, just this area where you are, I think I mentioned the walkway collapsed. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, go for it. Okay, so I'll switch off your glowing business. All right, so Gungo, I don't know if you can see in here, can you? Yeah, okay. So there's Yeah, there's a corridor. Okay, Luxor clambers in behind you. Do you have a light source, Gungo? Yep, if it's a bit dark. I'll just put some light on for you. Oh, you've got night vision. Do you have night vision? No, okay. Save. Dark vision. Yeah. What about you, Luxor? You've got dark vision, don't you? This is the new improved. Yeah. Okay. They just always keep their hand on the left. And a lead following up. So you come into a wide. It was a narrow sort of 5 foot wide corridor leading into the main keep. Eventually, it opens out into a main corridor, 10 foot wide, going north and south. Looks like it sort of circles some sort of inner larger area. Which way, north or south? It's the Minotaur way. Okay, north. You can see there is a doorway immediately to your left, which would go out, towards the west, the way that you've just come. But of course, further north. Keep moving. Okay. The corridor turns on an angle and eventually comes to another door. Okay, I'll move you right up to... Oh, yeah, you can move yourself up there. Okay, can you roll a perception check for me, Gungo? Holy moly, okay. Nine. Oh, there we go. You don't hear anything. No movement, no wind, no nothing. Eerily quiet. Okay. Do an investigation for me. Yeah. Yeah, investigation. You squint at it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, you don't think that it's trapped? Open the door. All right. Okay, you open it up, and it there is a light, like a magical, clearly magical light, glowing from what looks like a more traditional sconce. There's giant cobwebs filling the room. There's lots of crates. Haphazardly placed boxes and crates fill what looks like a disused storage room. If you need some gear, you might be able to find something rummaging around. No other exits, no. Head back the way you came. Heading and yeah, Luxor. Yeah, the one that you're walking past. Yeah, sure. Give me a perception roll. Okay, what'd you get? 21? Okay, you can't hear anything either at this door. Okay, do your investigation. 2 people can try. Okay, a lead's got it. 21. A lead, you don't think that it's trapped, but you do see that it looks locked. It would need some sort of battery or locksmith tools. Yes. Yeah, okay. Which you do both well, Gungo. What are you going to do? Okay. All right, you unlock the door just like a real rogue. Okay, and you open it up, and it opens up into what looks like an armory. Swords, battle axes, war hammers, the favoured knights of the Knights of Solamnia. They remain in their racks, or they lay broken and rusted on the floor. There's an ancient lance resting on a table in the centre of the room. Would you put it? Anything looking good? One of the longswords seems remarkably free of rust. Yep. Okay. Yeah. 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 You feel, Luxor, you feel a bitter taste in your mouth. This sword is absolutely disgusting. Detestable. It belongs in a swamp. It feels like you just drank slime. Trash. Yeah. Yep. Can you roll an insight for me, Luxor? Okay. You feel that sensation, that feeling, that taste in your mouth wasn't your own. Yeah, the sort of Kaz. It's another sort of. We'll stop calling it that. It's the sort of Luxor now. Okay. Yeah. It's me and you forever. How dare you shed blood with something else? No, it feels great. In fact, it moves pretty quick. Very keen edge. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay. And then there is a doorway opposite the one you entered. Looking at, judging from your positioning, it would probably lead into the main, out into the courtyard, yeah. All right, you head further south and you head past another door that it leads off to the west. Do a listen. Gungo, do a listen as well. You're outside a door as well. Okay, so Luxor. Perception for Luxor? What was that? 24. Okay. You don't hear anything, Luxor, but you smell wine. You try to open it, and it is. No great keep is complete without a fully stocked wine cellar, and Dargaard Keep is no exception. The wine cellar, yeah, the wine cellar shows little damage from the fire that consumed this place, although the wine barrels and racks have collapsed. There's crimson stains everywhere, still visible on the stone, and there's a skeleton sitting upright in the corner, and there's an empty bottle in its fingers. Yeah. You have a bit of a snoop around the broken wine racks, and you find 2 bottles still intact. One of them's yeah. You could roll the history if you want. Yep. One of them says Sylvanestry Red, which you don't recognise. Alege, do you want to have a... It's intelligence-based history. Yep. Okay. Oh, right. In D&D Beyond, because you actually see them roll, don't you? Okay. All right, so one of them is called Sylvanestry Red, which is the moon elves of Kryn. That's what they call themselves. And Istarian White, and Istar was the capital city where when the cataclysm, took out the city. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Gungo, you were also having a listen at the door further south. You don't hear anything either, but you can smell soot. Okay, this opens as well. Can you open it? Yeah, yep, you can. So despite the lingering smell of smoke that pervades the keep, the scent of yeast is still noticeable in here. There's ovens, probably used as this would have been the bakery for the keep, long since collapsed. There's sacks which might once have contained flour have been spoiled by probably vermin pulling the thing apart. And there's a pair of skeletal legs dangling from a window in the kitchen's west wall. Yeah, and the legs have probably survived, and whatever was outside got consumed in some sort of massive fire outside the keep. Okay. It feels like you're rummaging around in a bakery in Pompeii. You don't find anything of interest. Okay. I'll just get rid of this turn order here. Okay, moving on. And you get to where most likely those double doors are. In fact, one of them was open, weren't they? So I'll open that. Another one is closed, and there's a door. This is the first one you've come across that's on the that goes into the central portion of the keep. Okay, perception then, Luxor. Okay, I've got a 16. All right. You think you can hear some sort of whispering. Yep. Do you speak Elvish? Ah, in that case, it sounds Elvish. Yeah. You don't speak Elvish, but you've heard them talk, and they sort of talk like they've got a swollen tongue. They go, yes, fuck this. Okay. Just listen to what's her name? Galadriel. Even Elrond. Elrond sounds like that too. Yeah. Okay, Elite, do you want to have a perception? Oh, you're trying to listen to. Well, you got to hear them first because this is like whispers. Sure. You know what you're trying to listen for. Do you hear that? Oh, we got an 8. Okay. Just stretching those dice. All right, crank it up to 11. Okay, so you can also hear, and it is Elvish to you, although like a dialect that wouldn't, probably some sort of dialect, but it's clearly Elvish, but too low to hear what the voice is saying. It does sound like a elven maiden's voice, young woman or something like that. A lady, yes. Didn't sound aggressive. Didn't sound like someone walking around talking to themselves a little bit. Sure. Okay. You can open the door up there. Oh, I have it locked, so I'll unlock it because it's not actually locked. All right. All right, so you head in there, and it's an enormous hall. Like it's, the castle, keeps like this would be ringed in rooms of different sorts, and there's most likely a ring of wide passageway circling what would probably be a great hall, and yes, okay. So, I think there's a light missing. I'll just stick another light in there for you. And there are lights all around the room. Okay. Whoops. At the heart of Dargaard Keep, the great hall, furnished with tables of Qualinesti oak, which are the gold elves, tiled with purple marble from the coal-kissed mountains, decorated with the heads of exotic beasts, all broken, cracked, blackened by the great conflagration which engulfed the keep on the day of the cataclysm 3.5 centuries ago. There's an ornate throne sitting on a stone dais facing the wreckage of a massive bronze chandelier, so it's come crashing down from above, lies in the centre of the hall. There's a burnt skeleton, lies trapped beneath the chandelier, and behind the throne, twin staircases climb up to the keep's second level. There's a spectral form of an elven woman hovering near the chandelier, looking mournfully at the skeleton crushed by the weight of the chandelier. And now, Alid, you can hear her speak in Elvish. She cursed him. Her voice is thin and reedy, with her dying breath, that he might live one life in darkness for every life his folly had cost. Always tired, never able to rest, always thirsty, never able to drink, always alone, never able to love. She turns towards you, Alede. Her eyes are red, her face is streaked with endless tears. Soth is not here. He has travelled to the abyss to confer with the Dark Queen. She has invited him to hear a proposition, although I don't know its nature. Yet if you truly wish to destroy him, there may be a way. Weird that she would, that she would. She's just assumed you're here to destroy Lord Soth. Soth is the general of the Queen. Yeah. My name is Ladara. He brought this upon us all, upon all the knights. Yes, the cataclysm. He may have averted the cataclysm. He betrayed his fellow knights, and when we all helped him escape, so that he may redeem himself and avert the cataclysm, instead he turned the other way, the coward's way. He is immensely powerful with magic, but I don't know if he has a wand, staff. No. I'll help you as best I can. The Queen of Dragons, the Queen of Darkness, the Queen of Evil. She looks like a dark-haired woman with black and purple armor and a long flowing cloak. Oh, the evil lady. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I'm one of the Dargaard banshees. Yes, you must destroy Soth once and for all. She says you won't. There's only a. Let's have a look. Above the tower is a fire with cataclysmic fire. Nearly 4 centuries ago, the gods hurled a mountain down upon this continent to punish us, and some of the fires that were ignited that day never stopped burning. Instead, the fire became corrupted, transformed, necrotic. Soth has acquired an ember of this cataclysmic fire, and he has stoked it into an inferno at the apex of the keep. I believe so. There's there are smaller fires in each of the 5 towers, and if you first put those out, then it will be possible to put out the last in the centre. But you must not delay. He's using this cataclysmic fire to reanimate the remains of dragons. They're becoming nightmarish death dragons in service to him alone. There are far more dragons that died ever than are currently living, and if he's able to animate them, he'll have an armada of death dragons at his disposal. If you go above, eventually you get to walkways that take you across to each of the 5 towers. Yeah, joined by walkways higher above. Yes, I lack the power to challenge Lord Soth. But now that I see your valor and your mettle, he does have a wand that he has keeps on him at all times. She examines it briefly, and she says, "This is a normal knight longsword of a knight of Solemnia, but over the centuries, looks like it's been absorbed some of this necrotic cataclysmic fire and become corrupted itself. Anyone slashed by this sword, the wound will continue to bleed unnaturally." No. They were empowered by the energy, necrotic energy of the knights themselves, but just did slashing damage, but more of it. Whereas this one, once it wounds you, you will continue to bleed out until you can staunch the flow. You'll continue to lose, a certain number of health every round. She's describing to you a sort of wounding. Okay. Yep. Yeah, the stairway. The twin stairways will take you higher. And from there, if you go up a number of floors, then you'll be able to reach the towers. The flames burn on level 5. No, but she gives you tells you a ritual to perform. I won't go into the details of what, but so you know what you need to do. No, you can share it to everyone. Yep. The most dangerous of all are any death dragon, the death dragon he's created so far. My sisters, the other coven, the remains of the coven of the Dargaard banshees, and of course Lord Soth himself, should he return. There is, of all the knights, some of them are more swayed to Lord Soth's cause. Others serve him begrudgingly. Yes. She says, this is a fortress of the damned. Expect to battle skeletal knights, berserk black rose bearers, wailing Dargaard banshees, and possibly worse. I will follow the way that by the ways that I can and aid you where I can. The easiest path was still straight up the stairs. But people, all of the inhabitants of this keep move around, so it's not that there is apart from guards where they're stationed. She doesn't know when you would encounter what the inhabitants. Somewhere there is a deranged halfling, Laurie Wanwillow, who fell to vampirism long ago. He willingly gave himself. Yep. All right. 11:20. I reckon we should stop here before we then head on from, now that you've sort of accepted Ladira's quest. Not that, even though it sort of aligns with yours. And she says that if he doesn't have the part of the rod on his person, as soon as he is destroyed, she'll know where it is, and she'll reveal that to you. You do get a feeling that she's not that convinced that you'd be able to defeat Lord Soth. And she doesn't seem that interested in you having the rod. Like, that's not, she's not interested in treasure hunters at all. Yeah. Yeah. I'll share you a quick image because I think shift to where you are. Let's have a look. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yes, you do a little bit. So, yeah. Same branch of elves, perhaps, who knows? Yeah, she's got a headdress of thorns, of thorny, not thorns, of thorny brambles, pure white hair. She seems to be sort of bleeding or crying, some sort of purple necrotic ichor. Sith eyes, that sort of red and yellow. And armour, but it's more of a mantle, symbolic armour with sort of jewellery at her throat as well. And quite emaciated. And even though, you do see colour and it's not like pure ethereal, she's slightly translucent as well. And so there, I'll put Ladara on the map, and let's close out here, and we'll catch up in a fortnight. Skip ourselves a Christmas and New Year, so have a great break. I hope everyone gets one. All right, and hopefully Merry Christmas, everyone. And I hope we will see some allies turning up, some reinforcements shortly. Yeah, when the very first guard you fight doesn't drop to a 77 hit point, disintegrate, it's a problem. All right. Yes. Yeah. All right. I'll close that here and fortnight.